cool having the motor and figuring out the stability. It's kind of sketchy feeling at first, if I'm being honest. It's doesn't have the the primary stability that the Vibe did, surprisingly. But it does have better secondary stability, so a lot better. It's kind of weird. I like it so far.
So I know I just got on here and said that the primary stability is worse than the Vibe. After fishing on it all day, I'm going to come back and say that it's not. The seat is just higher, so it feels like it's more tippy whenever you're sitting on it, but whenever you stand up, it's actually a little bit better than the Vibe was as far as that primary or initial stability was. It's just that you sit higher, so it feels a little bit tippy at first.
The motor is definitely nice so far. So I didn't give any kind of a introduction to this video, but I'm out here at a conservation lake. I'm sure you can hear all them geese in the background. I'm out here at a conservation lake with some buddies. My girlfriend came out. She's in the old Vibe. I'm in this guy. The new Native Hammer is what this guy is. We're just out here doing some fishing, kind of having fun, figuring out how this different stuff is going to work. I'm mostly planning on just kind of testing the kayak in several different ways today. Not really planning on really fishing that hard. And just trying to figure out what this boat's about. See what I can and can't do in it. See what I'm going to like about it. But, I don't know, pretty exciting so far. We'll see. This is directly after ice out. It is, water temp is 41 degrees. Got the Doobie Brothers and Billy out here. Like I said, my girlfriend Maya, she's out here. And, Connor is supposed to be coming. So, it'd be cool. There'd be a lot of us out here. I'd really like to catch a fish. This is not a lake that I hit very often. It's a good lake. There's better ones around in my opinion, but most of the other ones are all still froze up, so gotta go where you can. I gotta be honest with you, there's a part of me that doesn't really enjoy this thing in the motor, but I think that is just like a resistance to change, if I'm being honest.
It absolutely was just a resistance to change. By the end of the day, I had a lot of fun running around with that motor. It made everything a lot easier, as I'm sure you guys can imagine. It was absolutely great having that motor. I think in the moment I'd been fishing for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes or less, and it was just the, like, hitting that button on the motor and everything. It just, you know, it was getting used to all of it, whereas before I was just used to just pedaling. And so it was, you know, one more complication to learn to add to my already kind of regular routine. So, yeah, it was just a resistance to change. The motor's great. So one of the biggest things that I wasn't crazy big on this boat on the first time out, and I didn't include it in my kind of outro recap clip there, because it's not really an issue. It's just something that it's like a personal preference thing. Those like rotary style pedals that you just saw me pushing there, it's not what I'm used to, because I've been on the fin style, to where it's just like you kick out like this and that's it, instead of like kicking around in a bicycle style. So it's, again, I think this is just a resistance to change thing. I don't think it's actually something that I'm going to dislike for longer than the first few trips, but it was definitely awkward completely changing my pedaling style for this first time out with it, and I do think I'll end up enjoying it. Just for now, it's kind of weird.
What?
First blood, maybe.
First blood. Up shallow on that wood with the Ned. With the Ned. Hold on.
Nice.
13 1/4.
Nice.
Good job.
Oh, he came loose. Another one, yeah. About the same size, small. He popped loose right next to the boat. I didn't have a good angle on him at all. Jerkbait fish. Jerkbait fish. Which is very exciting because I suck with a jerkbait. 12 3/4.
I'll be back out fucking Tuesday, reckon.
Good. Casted right behind you.
Look at that, dude. You sure you want to go home, buddy? Yeah.
I think. Alrighty, so I just got off of work and I wanted to run out here before the sun sets, so I'm still all dirty from work, but I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on how the Native Hammer handled on the first time out and what I do and don't like about it. Now keep in mind that the stuff that I've got to compare it to, I fished out of an Ascend 12T for, I don't know, 6 years, not really comparable at all, and then a Vibe Shearwater 125 for a season, and that had the X drive, so I'm used to like the fin type pedals rather than the rotary propeller type pedals. So that's what I have to compare it to, but I'm going to real quick run through some of my favorite parts and some of my least favorite parts about this boat after that day of fishing that you guys just saw. So I'm sorry, it is pretty windy. I've got my earbud in, so hopefully it cuts out some of that, but you guys are probably still going to hear some of it. You know, right off the bat, that motor that I was using, that Minn Kota, is super, super nice. I really, really enjoy it, especially compared to just having the pedals. It's great. That being said, it is a little bit slower than I imagined. It was going like 3 3/4 on the high end, and you know, I just figured it would be pushing it a little bit faster than that, but it was still fast enough for me to be happy with it. And that, you know, that was max speed, 3 3/4. Just pedaling, I could get it to, you know, right around 4 at like a steady clip, but one that I could keep up for a while. And then both of them going together, going about 4.5. I could probably push it to 5 if I was really, really pushing hard on the pedals. So it wasn't as fast as I expected, but it was still quick enough for me. Here, I switched it to a different view, so you're probably going to have a little bit better picture of what we're looking at here. But yeah, it wasn't as quick as I expected, but it was quick enough. Something that I really liked, of course, you know, there's been a lot of talk about this folding X drive. That was super nice because at one point I just folded it up and then ran the motor for the rest of the day. I had plenty of space in the tank well for my feet, and the motor, or the pedals, were entirely out of the way. I mean, came back to there only, and then I had all this other space for everything else that I needed. The rudder was great. You know, this is the stow and deploy thing, but the rudder was great. This thing would turn on a dime with just the pedals and the rudder. I mean, it was really, really maneuverable in the water. It worked really well. The motor obviously made it even better, but it was quite good that way even. I really, really liked the swivel seat. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but there were several times where I just spun around, you know, knees are like right here, feet are here, and just was able to rig my rods on top of this thing, open up the black pack, you know, and pop it open, find whatever I needed, you know, just found something, pulled it out, laid it out. It was really convenient for rigging rods, being able to spin around here like this. The stability of the boat is not quite as good as I expected it to be. The primary stability, which is just how much it tips right off the bat, was a little bit worse than I expected. Part of that is because this seat is the highest seat in a kayak that I've ever had, so you do sit up a little bit higher, and I wasn't used to that, but once I stood up, it felt pretty normal to me compared to the Vibe. I could rock it pretty good, but to where, you know, I wasn't really worried about flipping, but it was just a little bit less stable than I expected. You still have to be careful is what I'm trying to say. It's still pretty stable, but just not what I expected. But the secondary stability on this thing was great. The secondary stability really kicks in whenever you catch these like kind of hips or whatever you would call them. It's got them on the front and the front and the back here. Whenever the water would catch that lip there, it would really, really start to kick in, and you really didn't need to worry about flipping. I think that this boat would be very difficult to flip, but as far as getting off balanced and then throwing yourself out of the boat, I could definitely see that happening. So it is a little bit tippy. I mean, not in a way that's disappointing, because I think I'll still be just fine in it. But it definitely is not as stable as I originally kind of expected. I think from watching the videos of the people that I've seen in this boat already, I think most of them are a lot smaller than me, and so they make it look a lot easier. I do really like how easily everything goes on and off of this boat. The setup and takedown time I thought was going to take a long time. It was actually really quick, really simple to set everything up and take it down. It went way better than I expected, so that was definitely a huge positive, you know, being able to put in and take out of the water really quickly. As far as the rigging that I've done on it, I was really happy with all of it. Like this up here, I had to lean forward to reach it, but it wasn't in a spot where I was having to go way out of my way or anything. It's really nice here. I actually really like it here. I did have my GoPro or my DJI camera on top of my track pack here and running off of this guy right here. That worked really good. I haven't looked at the footage yet. I'm about to go in and edit that right after I'm done here, but it seemed like it worked great all day, so big fan of that. One thing that I did not really like about it compared to other kayaks that I've had is there's no good place to like kind of lay the net while you're fishing. It wants to fall off all the time. Like laying it here, you've got it like angled off and stuff. There isn't a good way to put it. I had it leaned up against the base of my graph mount here, which works pretty good. But Connor Clary actually gave me this at the end of our fishing day, so I'm planning on laying that net down in there with the net ring actually up there, but the handle being in here, so it should keep it pretty sturdy right there and not have to worry about losing it as much as I did this last outing. Other than that, overall, I was really, really pleased with everything about this boat. There was no issues that I found on this first day of fishing. It is a new boat and a new trailer, so I'm getting used to the launching and the trailering of it. So I'm gonna end up having to do like a rope here and push it off and whatever, where I haven't really done that before. So it's just little stuff like that I'm gonna have to figure out with the boat, but it's not really any complaints at all about the boat itself. Just the stability wasn't what I expected. So not really a complaint, because I think it makes up for it in other areas. It's still a really great boat, but yeah, just I guess that's the only little thing that I wasn't super excited about, was that the stability was incrementally less than I expected it to be. So to sum it all up, I was really happy with how the boat performed. It was great. It was very fun fishing out of it. It was very comfortable. The seat was really comfortable. I am going to put a kayak cushion in there eventually, but for now it's super comfortable. The tank well is very large. Lots of room in there in the front and the back. You know, you guys have seen it, but it really is as roomy as it seems. The fishing was as comfortable as it seems. It was great. Overall, it was great. The stability issue it really isn't that bad. It just wasn't what I expected. It's still more stable than the Vibe that I'm coming out of, which is nice. But that one's stable enough as is. I could stand and fish out of that one all day and not really have an issue. And this one is a little bit better than that, but it isn't, miles ahead of it. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. There's not a whole lot else that I have to say at this point. That was only, 6 hours of fishing out on it, 5-6 hours, something like that. So I'm sure I'll have a better idea of it in the future, of the things that I do and don't like and whatever. But for now, that's all I've got on this boat. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.